All right, folks. U.S. loses allies on Iran as Europe launches system to avoid sanctions. The European Union has officially launched a special trade vehicle designed to allow limited trade with Iran while at the same time avoiding sanctions from the United States. Following a meeting of the remaining parties to the 2015 nuclear deal that the U.S. abandoned last year, European External Action Service released a statement Friday saying that the instrument in support of trade exchange, INSTEX, has been made operational and available to all EU member states, and that the first transactions are being processed. The EU pledged to accelerate cooperation with Iranian correspondent entity STFI. The move came as Iran warned it would soon begin enriching uranium beyond the deal's limits in response to the EU, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom's failure to normalize trade ties under threat of U.S. sanctions. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called the meeting positive and a step forward, but stated that it is not still enough and it is still not meeting Iran's expectations. Ultimately, he said the final decision will be made back in Tehran. The 2015 nuclear deal, officially known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, was the product of extensive diplomacy between the U.S. and Iran, which have not had a formal relation since the Islamic Revolution deposed a West-backed monarchy in 1979, as well as China, the EU, France, Germany, and Russia, and the UK. Under its terms, Iran agreed to substantially curb the nuclear activities in exchange for billions in international sanctions relief. While the deal was largely hailed by the international community, it was widely opposed by Republicans, including Trump, as well as some U.S. allies in the Middle East, such as Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. They all criticized the deal for not going far enough in restricting Iran's nuclear capabilities, its alleged support for militant groups, and its ballistic missile development. Iran has always denied that it sought nuclear weapons and that its program was explicitly for peaceful purposes, although the International Atomic Agency repeatedly verified Tehran's compliance with the accord. Trump unilaterally pulled Washington out of the agreement in 2018, setting off a new round of tensions between the longtime rival nations. The Trump administration has since engaged a maximum pressure campaign designed to cut Iran's foreign trade ties, and especially its ability to export oil. U.S. officials have threatened even their European counterparts, calling on them to forego doing business with the Islamic Republic or face punitive economic measures. That's the U.S. using the SWIFT system. In first announcing the creation of the INSTEX system in January, however, the EU said it would be focusing initially on most essential to the Iranian population, its pharmaceutical, medical devices, and agri-food goods, far from the influx of foreign trade promised by the JCPOA. Since then, tensions have only worsened between Washington and Tehran as the U.S. doubled down on sanctions and sent additional military assets to the Middle East, amid what the administration has claimed to be a heightened threat to its regional interests posed by Iran and its allies. The U.S. has blamed Iran for recent attacks against oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman, allegations Tehran has denied, and the Revolutionary Guard's downing of a U.S. Navy RQ-4A drone nearly brought Trump to conduct strikes against the Islamic Republic last week, though he suspended the order at the last minute. The JCPOA parties have called for an immediate de-escalation, and the issue was said to have come up repeatedly Friday in Osaka as world leaders gathered for the G20 summit, where Trump met one-on-one with a number of key stakeholders in the matter, including Russian President Vladimir Putin, Chinese President Xi, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. I think the Europeans are just completely tired of the U.S.'s reckless policy. You had a deal. They had Iran calm down, and they had the BRICS calm down to where everybody could do business. The United States doesn't want to give up power, and this is a power play. And the rest of the world is not willing to risk nuclear war just because the United States wants to retain power. Now, they were cool if the United States was doing its job. But in 2008, they didn't, which is why they're in this mess. Ever since the Bretton Woods dollar system was implemented, the Europe has always wanted to get off of it, get to a more balanced worldview, and not something dominated by the United States empire. I do believe this incident is a real thing, and it's probably the straw that broke the camel's back. But Europe had been planning on doing this for quite a while anyway, and now that just gave the Europe the impetus or even the excuse to go ahead and do what they were going to do anyway. So not only China, but Iran and a few others, Europe decided, you know what, guess what? Let's go ahead and get off the dollar system. Let's go ahead and start dismantling this system, because the United States is not a fair arbiter of trade. They're not a fair referee. They've been using this dollar system more than to their advantage and backing it up with muscle. And that muscle had to back down on the Iranian coast. Is this endgame? I don't know. Is this a Thanos snap? I don't know. But this is not the first time the United States has backed down in the face of mounting pressure, monetarily, politically, and also militarily. But all I can say, folks, this is the second half of 2019, and it's getting rough already. 2020 is going to be a bear. 2019, get right or get left. For the United States to actually compete against the Chinese and everybody else and don't have the advantage of the dollar, they're going to have to automate. So what that means for you, you already know. Tighten up your chin straps, tighten up your belt, get out of debt, and get ready for what's coming. There's only a few pieces left on the board, and we'll see how President Trump actually plays those pieces. But that margin for playing these pieces are very narrow. And right now, you don't have the advantage. But with that, I'm going to jump off here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.